Have you ever heard of a queen who, long before Cleopatra or Elizabeth I, ruled a vast empire with an iron fist? Today, we're diving into the turbulent and astonishing life of Lü Zhi, China's first ever empress and a woman whose name has echoed through history for over 2 millennia. Was she a ruthless tyrant, a brilliant political strategist, or something far more complex? Let us unravel the story of the woman who held the Han Dynasty in the palm of her hand. Our story begins not in a palace, but in a modest, well-to-do family. Lü Zhi was the daughter of a respected gentleman named Wen. One day, a local official named Liu Bang, known more for his rebellious spirit than his refinement, came to visit. Wen, a believer in physiognomy, the art of reading, faces saw something extraordinary. In Liu Bang, he saw the face of a future emperor. Against all conventional wisdom, he married his beloved daughter Lü Zhi to this charismatic but then minor figure. It was a gamble, a bet on a future no one else could see. Lü Zhi, a dutiful and intelligent young woman, accepted her father's decision, tying her fate to Liu Bang's. Little did she know, this marriage would plunge her into a world of war, betrayal, and unprecedented power. For years, Lü Zhi was the model wife, while Liu Bang was out building alliances and fighting battles that would eventually topple the mighty Qin dynasty. She managed the household, raised their children, a son, Liu Ying, and a daughter, Princess Yuan of Luan, endured incredible hardship. She worked the fields and cared for Liu Bang's parents, proving her resilience and dedication. But the life of a rebel's wife was far from peaceful. During the brutal Sikon contention, a war between Liu Bang and his formidable rival, Xiang Yulz and her family were captured. She spent years as a hostage, a political pawn in a deadly game. This experience didn't break her. It forged her. In that crucible of fear and uncertainty, the dutiful wife began to transform into a hardened survivor who understood the brutal nature of power. When Liu Bang finally defeated Xiang Yuan, established the Han Dynasty in 202 BCE, he became Emperor Gaozu, and Lü Zhi, his loyal wife, who had suffered so much, was rightfully crowned empress. But life in the palace was a new kind of battlefield. The emperor, now surrounded by beautiful young concubines, began to favor one in particular, the lovely Consort Qi. Consort Qi wasn't just a rival for the emperor's affection. She was a political threat. She had a son, Ru Yi, whom the emperor adored for his intelligence, and believed would make a better heir than Lü Zhi's own son, the kind-hearted but gentle Liu Ying. Emperor Gaozu seriously considered deposing Liu Ying and making Ru Yi the crown prince. For Empress L, this was a declaration of war. Her son's position was her own. Losing it meant losing everything. This is where we see Empress L's political genius ignite. She didn't just weep or plead, she acted. She knew that to secure her son's future, she needed powerful allies. She reached out to the most respected and influential ministers in the court, men who had helped her husband build the empire. She used persuasion, leveraged old loyalties, and made strategic promises. Her masterstroke was recruiting the 4 white-haired sages of Mount Shang for legendary recluses whom the emperor himself had failed to persuade to serve him. When these revered men appeared in court, standing firmly behind Crown Prince Liu Ying, the emperor knew he was beaten. He turned to Consort Qi and admitted defeat, saying, "The crown prince's wings are fully grown. He is difficult to move." Empress L had won. She had outmaneuvered the emperor himself, securing her and her son's place at the center of power. In 195 BCE, Emperor Gaozu died. Empress L's son, Liu Ying, ascended the throne as Emperor Hui. But at only 16 years old, and with a gentle nature, he was no match for his formidable mother. Now, as Empress Dowager, Lü Zhi became the true ruler of the Han Empire. Her first order of business was to eliminate her rivals, and her methods were shockingly brutal. She turned her fury on the now helpless Consort Qi. She had keys, limbs cut, her eyes gouged out, her ears deafened, and forced her to drink a potion that made her mute. She then had her thrown into a latrine and mockingly called her the human pig. When she showed this horrifying sight to her son, the young emperor, Hui was so traumatized that he fell ill and effectively withdrew from governing, telling his mother, "With such a ruler, how can I govern the empire?" He spent the rest of his short life in distraction, leaving his mother in complete control. With her son sidelined, Empress Dowager L ruled as regent for the next 15 years, and here's the paradox of her legacy. While her personal vendettas were monstrous, her governance was remarkably effective. She understood that the empire, weary from decades of war, needed peace and stability. She adopted a policy of non-interference with the common people, reducing taxes and encouraging agriculture. The economy flourished, and the population enjoyed a period of much-needed prosperity. In foreign policy, she was a pragmatist. When challenged by the powerful Xiongnu nomads to the north, instead of launching a costly war, she used diplomacy and strategic marriage alliances to maintain peace on the borders. She skillfully navigated court politics, placing her L family members in key positions of military and political power to consolidate her control, ensuring no one could challenge her authority. She proved to be a capable and intelligent ruler, even if her methods for securing power were terrifying. Empress L's reign was a masterclass in control. After her son, Emperor Hui, died young, she placed a series of infant emperors on the throne, allowing her to continue ruling uninterrupted as Grand Empress Dai. She effectively became the first woman to hold the title of Supreme Ruler of China. She ruled with an iron fist, swiftly eliminating any minister or noble who dared to question her authority. She ensured that the L clan held all the key levers of power, creating a government that was loyal to her and her alone. Her word was law. For 15 years, she was the undisputed, absolute ruler of the Han Empire, a feat unheard of for a woman at the time. She had climbed from the daughter of a minor official to the most powerful person in China, shattering every convention along the way. When Empress L died in 180 BCE, the power she had so carefully built for her family crumbled almost immediately. The old god of ministers and imperial family members, who had long resented the LA clan's dominance, staged Doi Kapu. They systematically purged and executed the entire L family, restoring power to the Lu imperial line. Her legacy was then deliberately tarnished by later Confucian historians who were deeply uncomfortable with a woman holding so much power. They painted her as a monstrous and illegitimate usurper, focusing solely on her cruelty while downplaying her political achievements. And so, the image of the human pig incident came to define her, overshadowing the 15 years of peace and prosperity she brought to the empire. So, how should we remember Empress LZ? Was she a diabolical tyrant defined by her cruelty, or a brilliant political strategist who did what was necessary to survive and rule in a brutal, male-dominated world? The truth is, she was both. Her life is a powerful, if unsettling, testament to the complexities of power. She was a product of her violent times. A woman who endured unimaginable suffering and learned to wield power with the same ruthlessness that had been used against her. Her story forces us to look beyond simple labels of good and evil and to appreciate the fierce determination of a woman who rose from obscurity to become the first female ruler of China, leaving a legacy of both terror and stability that is debated to this day. What do you think? Was Empress L's cruelty justified by her effective rule? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the past. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more stories about the most fascinating figures in history. We'll see you next time.